If you ask a voter today, anywhere in India, what they expect from an election, you'll hear many answers.
அதுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச ஒரே விஷயம் வந்து வேலைவாய்ப்பு இல்லை. You can take that 5 lakhs loan itself from the other government.
பெண்கள் பாதுகாப்புக்காக நான் போடுவேன்.
இந்த ஜாதி ரீதியான பிரச்சனை தான் இருக்குது. லஞ்சம் கொடுத்து தான் வந்து இப்போ வந்து ஒரு அரசு வேலையை வாங்குற மாதிரி இருக்குது.
Development, jobs, roads, safety. One question sits quietly underneath all of it. What are you giving us?
So what we're going to discuss, freebies, actual benefits or pure bribes.
After 80 years, if you are talking about giving freebies to the people in India, it means we made them poor. It's not economic development.
What kind of culture are you cultivating is what is being asked by the Chief Justice of India.
Free electricity, free bus rides, free laptops, cash transfers, loan waivers. Across states, across parties and across ideologies, everyone is offering something. And what is striking is not that this is happening. It's that it feels completely normal and we've embraced that reality. Elections today don't just feel like a contest of ideas. They feel like a comparison of offers. But this did not begin everywhere. It began somewhere very specific. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to Tamil Nadu in the 1960s. Under CN Annadurai, one of the earliest large-scale welfare promises was introduced: subsidized rice. At one level, this was a welfare intervention. At another level, it was politically transformative. It directly reduced the cost of living for the poor and created a visible, tangible link between government and the voter. For the first time, a policy did not just exist on paper, it showed up in the kitchen. And it worked. That success changed the nature of political incentives. Because once a policy wins votes, it stops being just a policy. It becomes a strategy for you to win an election. The next major shift came under MG Ramachandran, or fondly known as MGR. MGR expanded the midday meal scheme in the 1980s. This wasn't a small intervention, it dramatically increased school enrollment and addressed child malnutrition. It was welfare with measurable outcomes, but it also did something else. It made governance visible. Every day in every school, families could see what the government was doing. And politically, it created loyalty because their children were being fed. This is where welfare crossed an invisible line, from being a support system to becoming an electoral engine. Things changed dramatically in the 1990s and the 2000s, and under leaders like M. Karunanidhi and J. Jayalalitha, welfare began to evolve into something more aggressive. Free color televisions, mixer grinders, fans, cycles for students, laptops, livestock, gold for brides under marriage assistance schemes. By the 2006 elections, manifestos included multiple consumer goods along with subsidies and cash support. At that point, something fundamental had shifted. Parties were no longer promising governance. They were outbidding each other to buy over the voter with anything and everything they could promise. And once that dynamic begins, it does not stabilize. It escalates over the years. So what makes this story very interesting is not just what the politicians did, but it's how the voters also responded to some of those promises.
Aiming squarely at the women voter, the AIDMK is promising 2,000 rupees in monthly aid. That's double of what the DMK currently provides.
People didn't reject these promises. They began to factor them in. If one party offers free laptop and another offers both laptop and cash, the comparison becomes immediate. Your vote becomes a rational decision then. Not ideological, not emotional, but a very transactional one. ADMK is giving me this, DMK is giving me this, I'm going to choose this because they're giving me more. And once that mindset sets in, it reshapes politics fundamentally. Because now, not offering something is seen as offering less. For a long time, this model remained concentrated just to Tamil Nadu. But eventually, it began to spread because even other chief ministers started taking a note of this. States across India started adopting variations. Free electricity in states like Punjab and Delhi, for example. farm loan waivers across Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka and other states, cash transfer schemes targeting women, farmers and unemployed youth, which is now very popular in many states including Karnataka. Between 2022 and 2023 alone, the cost of announced freebies in several states was estimated to reach up to 2.2% of GSDP. That's not marginal spending, that is structural. A key moment in this evolution later on came with Arvind Kejriwal. In Delhi, free electricity and water were introduced alongside improvements in public services. But the framing changed. They were not presented as freebies. They were actually presented as governance, reducing the cost of living, improving access and delivering efficiency. If you remember all the controversies that happened when Sheila Dikshit was the Chief Minister of Delhi, and this was seen as a relief by the voters of Delhi. And politically, it worked magic for Arvind Kejriwal. It built his and the Aam Aadmi Party's career, and it did so very effectively. And this was important because it made welfare-driven politics more acceptable to urban middle-class voters as well. It was no longer seen as populism alone, it became a model. At this point, it's important to step back and look at the numbers. Freebies are funded through a few things: state revenues, borrowing, or reallocation from other sectors. In many states, increasing welfare commitments have led to these results: higher fiscal deficits, reduced capital expenditure, great reliance on debt, and when budgets are adjusted, capital expenditure, money which is used to build infrastructure and long-term assets, is often the first one to be cut, which creates a long-term trade-off. Short-term consumption, of course, increases as a result of this, but long-term growth capacity weakens. Now, here is the most important part of this story. Even if a political party wants to reduce freebies, it can't easily do so, because elections are very competitive. If one party offers less, another will offer more, and voters will respond accordingly. So the system creates its own logic. Politicians must promise, voters expect delivery, and the cycle reinforces itself over a period of time. And this becomes not a choice, but a compulsion or a necessity. So it's easy to frame this debate as good versus bad, but reality is much more complicated. Freebies provide real benefits to people: lower cost of living, better access to services, immediate relief for vulnerable population, those who can't afford these things, and that's why they work. But they also create structural challenges for the state's economy. Investment is reduced in the long-term growth, increased fiscal pressure is there on the economy of the state, and there is a shift in political incentives towards short-term gains than long-term goals that one must have. India today is not deciding whether freebies should exist. That phase is over. They already do, and it's a reality. The real question is, can a system built on distribution also sustain long-term growth? Because if that balance is not maintained, the consequences won't be dramatic. They will be very gradual. Fewer jobs, slower industrial growth, missed economic opportunities. So the story of freebies is not about one state or one leader. It's about how political incentives evolve over a period of time. What began in Tamil Nadu as a welfare intervention became an electoral strategy, then a competitive system, and eventually a national norm. And like most major changes in politics, it did not happen suddenly. It happened very slowly until it became invisible. And by the time it became visible, it already felt very normal for all of us. Is this something that should continue to happen, or should there be some intervention? And if so, in what kind can it happen? Do let us know in the comment section below.